Okay, just one thing before this video begins, and graphic designers, you're going to want to hear this. I'm doing a t-shirt design contest. So go to my Facebook page, all the rules are there on how to submit your design for an official We Are the Night t-shirt to celebrate my release of the video for that song, which will be sold on my web store, shop.stevegrand.com. The winner will receive some cool personalized items from me, have their design worn, hopefully by thousands of people, and have my undying love and devotion forever. So go check it out. Hey guys, it is Sunday, January 3rd, 2016. This is my 4th day in a row recording, and yes, that means I spent even New Year's Eve writing and recording. I had a really fun 2015, and honestly, this is all I want to do now. So I'm happy to be locked down here doing recording and writing and all of that. Now, I know there's a lot of mixed feedback about how much an artist should or shouldn't show behind the scenes, even with our own little grand fam here. So I'm going to gauge on how much of this kind of stuff I do based on your responses in the comments. So be sure to give your honest, preferably thoughtful feedback below. But either way, give this a like to make me feel better about myself. Regardless, this is just good practice for me, being in front of the camera and talking, because even talking is difficult for me. And I know some of you must appreciate this, so here we go. So I started today by tracking vocals to a new song I just finished writing a couple days ago that I'm so stoked for that I can't wait for you guys to hear if I end up releasing it, which I hope I do. I sang it about 60 times yesterday though when I was tracking it, so I found that when I started to record today, especially my upper register was a little scratchy. It still allowed me to do the verses, which are in more of my lower register. So I did that, and then after a while, when I felt tired, I called it quits. So I'm gonna have to come back to that once I rest my voice up. So in the meantime, I dug up an old song, which I probably wrote when I was about 21 years old, which didn't make it onto All American Boy. Not because I didn't love it, just because I didn't feel like All American Boy was quite the right home for this particular song. And right now I'm recording piano for this song. I really have a tendency to overplay and make my parts too busy, and this is something I definitely found when I was recording the piano parts for the All American Boy record. Aaron Johnson, the producer of the record, was always having me cut out parts because I just play too many notes sometimes, too much syncopation and just too much like arpeggiation in both hands, and it just kind of gets a little crazy. So now I'm conscious of stripping things down and just letting less be more, if you will. Now, for most of the All American Boy record, we actually got to track the piano parts on the same piano they used in the recording of My Heart Will Go On, which of course is that Celine Dion song that they, for the Titanic soundtrack, probably my favorite movie of all time. But since we don't have that kind of budget this time around, I'm using my same trusty keyboard I've been hauling up and off stages since I was 17. And I'm just gonna show you guys kind of how I do this a very quick way. It'll probably be too technical for most of you, and for those of you who it's not too technical for, it'll be too basic for. So, I don't know, we're just gonna see what kind of audience this video has, okay? Oh, my computer turned off. There. All right, so I open up my Pro Tools. I already have my stereo instrument track created, and as you can see, I've already been recording. These are all little MIDI notes here, and I could actually, you know, like move them. See? Isn't that nice? And if you play a wrong note, that's the great thing about MIDI. You could move the note, you could select the whole thing, or just a piece of it, and go to Event, MIDI real-time properties, and then quantize it at the strength you want. I usually do around 70%. Often makes it sound too perfect and robotic, but I'm not gonna do that now. And for my interface, I usually use, as you can see here, the Symphony I/O, but I don't think it has a MIDI thing. I've never been able to do it. So I have this guy right here. This is the MBox Pro, and I have the MIDI running through there. So that's how I do that. Right now I'm going to record enable this track. You could hear all that stuff going on. The piano's working. Yes, it is. All right, now I'm gonna get my click going here. We're at 122 beats per minute, and here we go. All right, that's all you guys get. I don't want to be spoiling all the surprises now. But who knows, that album may or may not even be on whatever I release next. That's how crazy all this is. I mean, I could hate that song next week and have spent hours and days recording it and then just totally scrap. That's just how this works. And I can and often do spend hours and even days on a single part like I just played for you. And what makes that even seem more crazy is that I have total control here with this MIDI map. I mean, I could control every single note down to when it's hit, how hard it's hit, and for what length of time it's sustained. But the truth of the matter is, it is still very, very difficult, and at the very least, extremely painfully tedious to try to recreate the natural human feel of performance. And so that's why I think, even with all this technology, you're better off just taking the time to get good at your instrument, because you'll spend just as much time trying to trick people into thinking that you're good at your instrument if you can't do it, but you get good on this thing. And that's not to say that I don't take full advantage of technology and all it allows you to do. I mean, I'll definitely go in for a part like that. Once I get it sounding good enough, even then I will go in and maybe move some notes around a little, maybe just overall take a section and quantize it. No more than 70%, like I said, because then it really just sounds robotic, which is not what you want. But that's how it all begins. And then usually once I have the part, then I'll bounce down to an audio track and I'll sing to that, or sometimes to give it more of a feel like the actual thing is going to be, I'll put a basic drum percussion part on there, maybe just a shaker, and then sing to that. And I'll show you guys that process another time. I hope this was maybe a little educational, or at least maybe a little interesting. All right, guys, well, that's that. Please comment if you feel so inclined, but at least like this video and subscribe to this channel because it makes me feel better about myself. Okay, until next time, bye. I'm Steve Grand, tuning out. Wow.